couple months ago, I went to see Kanye West in Miami, and I sat next to this guy, or behind this guy, with my bare legs out, because I had shorts on. And he turned to me and he's like, no disrespect, but I don't want to see your hairy ass knee. If you're watching this, I got you.
Feelings, but these feelings harder. No hard feelings, but these feelings harder. No.
You are watching a public diary entry from patient number 0. Last name, Mitchell. First name, Jordan. This study is being done to document his learnings and progress as he grows.
The last year or so, I really haven't had many goals. I dropped out of school, took a gap year, and kind of had a goal to be able to sustain myself. I wanted to be able to travel. And so that was like a rough goal. And it worked out very well. I have a full-time job that allows me to work from anywhere comfortably. So that worked, actually. Part of me is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I should just have a rough idea of where I want to go. Just run with that and see what comes your way. In the last year, I had that philosophy. And I kind of got lucky. I worked hard, not diminishing myself, but like I happened to know the right people to get the right jobs and to be in the right rooms. There's something to being in a position to capitalize on luck. But also it'd be cool to like have a goal and then work my way towards it. So anyways, moral of the story, trying to be more deliberate about the goals that I set. I thought I had decided on focusing on YouTube as like my main driver. That's like the main North Star. And then like all my objectives and key results can kind of flow into that. So like doing well in my job, I need that so I get money every month so that I can have time to do these other things. And so I like that idea of having singular focus. I don't know, I've just like learned from past experience that I feel a lot better as a person when I have a singular focus. I feel much more grounded and the results seem to be better. So that's why I want to have like one focus. And I thought it was YouTube. I wanted to focus on 3 videos a week this quarter. So 36 videos in the next 3 months and like really focus on building processes, putting in the hours, getting better at YouTube videos. But I'm a creative, and so naturally I have other things that I want to be doing all the time. And one of those things is a fashion brand. It's kind of been bubbling up in the back of my mind for a long time. Virgil Abloh talks about this idea.
One of the greatest lessons that I've learned in an ironic way is like being very concise. Mm-hmm. The less it is, the stronger it is. This is you, and then you have one brand, you know. It's also smart to realize it's like you don't just have one brand in you. You know, it's like there could be more.
And it just hit me today, I don't know why, that one of those brands for me is this idea of being a third culture kid. And so this idea of third culture is like you have your parents' culture or your passport's culture, which is mostly Canada for me. You have the culture you grew up in, which is mostly China for me. And then you have this third culture, which is a weird mix of the two. When people ask where you're from, easy answer if I don't feel like answering is like, oh, I'm Canadian. But I'm not really Canadian. It's like, okay, I grew up in China, definitely not Chinese.
No.
Was born in Ecuador, definitely not Ecuadorian. Spent time in Bangladesh, definitely not Bangladeshi. Live in America, definitely not American. My parents live here in Switzerland now, and I'm definitely not Swiss. So I don't know what the fuck I am, is the premise. And I know a ton of people who have the same upbringing of being a third culture kid. I feel like that's an interesting brand to explore, interesting idea. And so part of me is like, action is the most important thing, and you should spend as little time deliberating things as possible and as much time actually trying shit and experimenting and doing and iterating and getting better. And so that would kind of support the idea of just follow my energy, which right now is around this fashion brand, work on that. And then if I feel inclined to do YouTube later, I can do YouTube in a couple months or whenever I lose interest, whatever. But the other part of me is like, fuck, I'm tired of going from project to project and leaving things half finished. I want to just focus on one thing. That be the arrowhead. Do it for a couple months at least, and then I can do this other project. And so I think that's what I'm gonna do, is focus on YouTube. That be like my main one goal, and have all these sub goals. So like one of those is do well in my job. Another is build a life operating system. And then like the main objective is post 36 videos in the next 3 months. And maybe some of those videos are like this, where it's documenting the fashion brand. I can like work on the fashion brand stuff if it's helping YouTube. Here's a vlog of me touring a factory for this fashion brand. And the main driver is still YouTube, but that lets it be an outlet for this. That's where my head is at focusing on YouTube for now, at least the next 3 months, on the output of 36 videos, make a ton of videos, get in the practice of it, get like used to it, comfortable being on camera, comfortable writing scripts. And then I can be more tactical about like finding a niche, whatever, but I think those things will emerge over time. And if in 3 months I'm like, I actually hate making YouTube videos, then I can go fucking full force to the clothing stuff, but at least I got the YouTube out of my system. This is my thought process. I wanted to document this decision in this like personal diary because, I don't know, it'd just be dope like if Virgil kept a vlog when he was starting and he was talking about what he was working on, what he was thinking about, where his thoughts were, his decision-making process. And so I want to do that so that in 20 years, when I'm on Virgil level, y'all can be like, oh, look, he was just a kid talking about it. Anyways. So part 2 of this vlog, if you can even call it that, this rant, part of me wants to be like that kid who has entrepreneur in his bio and then talks to you. It's like, oh, I have this cool business idea, but I don't want to tell you what it is because I don't want you to steal it. It's like, okay, relax. The idea, like I said, it's about these kids who dread the question, where are you from? You're kind of just this like weird nomad. One cool concept I think would be interesting is the first time you buy something from the company, you get a fake passport. And then each time after that you buy something, or like each event that you show up to, or, you know, fashion show you show up to, you get a stamp in your passport. Maybe it's an actual passport, maybe it's like an NFT. I don't know. But like that passport idea, I really like incorporating a passport, whether it's an actual passport or like branding, borrowing from passport designs. I just think a passport's so cool. I can't imagine living in one place. Like, I literally think I would die if I was forced to live in small town Nebraska for the rest of my life. I would cope, but I would probably be miserable for a long time. Like, your passport is your most valuable object. It's 2 things, 3 things, 4 things. Okay, this list is starting to lose meaning. But passport, your laptop, your phone, your camera. Really like phone and passport. You get the fucking point. And then today I was in Lugano, Switzerland, and weirdly, I was going on a walk through the city. There's like a Harley Davidson festival. Like Harley Davidson is the most American brand ever. It's just weird that it resonates so well here in beautiful Switzerland. But anyways, they all had these leather jackets, these Harley leather jackets. Some of them had their name printed on the front, and they had patches of like different shows that they had been to, or different Harley Davidson stores maybe. But like this one guy had like a Bern, Germany, or is Bern in Germany or Switzerland? He had a Las Vegas patch, LA patch, he had a Lugano patch maybe, I don't know. This jacket is kind of this guy's passport. Like these patches are like stamps. And my sister has a bag that she's like this. She adds a patch every place she travels. So I think that's cool. Maybe the passport doesn't have to actually be a passport. It can just be a like clothing item that is like a passport. And what's interesting is these jackets were so personalized. Some people just left them on their bike. They locked up their bike and then just like left their jacket on their motorbike and walked away into the town. And part of this, I think, is Switzerland being so rich and trusting and communal where people wouldn't steal. But then also it's like so personalized that why would I steal that? These patches, like I haven't been to these places. I have my own jacket. I've been to these places. I don't need this guy's jacket. And then you could tear them off and sell the jacket, but whatever. The point is like this garment became very personalized to him, which I think is a cool idea to somehow incorporate. So that's like main idea number 1. Main idea number 2 is I actually found it pretty easy making friends in all the places I traveled to. And mainly because I was obsessed with sports. I would wear a polo on picture day for my mom. But other than that, I think I wore a sports uniform to school every day from grade 1 to grade 7. And then in grade 8, I went to a private school with uniform in Canada. Anyways, I would wear like sports jerseys all the time. If I moved somewhere new, I'd have my Liverpool kit. And I would make friends with the Liverpool fans, and then we'd play soccer at recess. And anyways, I think that's like an interesting concept, like the idea of a jersey, like a soccer jersey, especially because that's played on every continent. But just sports jerseys in general, I think are such a cool way to bridge cultures, like bridge people. Where I think that would be interesting to make sports jerseys, and maybe off the premise of like, what if the United Nations had a kit? What would that look like? Or what if Planet Earth had an Olympic team? What would their stuff be? I don't know. Something around that I think could be interesting. And so, this is the like a big third part, right? The whole premise of this brand is global. So I would have to offer international shipping. I would want to bake in the shipping cost into the price and then have free shipping, ideally, in this fictitious brand that I haven't made up yet. And being environmentally friendly. And I would be starting off as a small brand. So I wouldn't have the economies of scale of like a Nike who can make high quality stuff, but they make 1 million of them so they can make them super cheap. So like even off of those 3 factors of sustainability, free shipping, and being small, like my price starts to get pretty expensive. And that's kind of against the whole global ethos because some countries don't have as much buying power. They won't be able to afford it. Even people in America or Europe or like strong economies don't want to spend a ton of money on a jacket or a shirt. But I want like this brand to resonate with people. So it's like, okay, what do I do about that? But there's something in the NFT community, because I've been working in NFTs for like the last year, that whole space. I know I'm one of those people. They talk about this idea of CC0, which is a copyright standard, which is the least restrictive, which basically is like NFT projects where anybody can profit off of. Like I could take this image, even if I don't own the NFT, I could take the NFT, print it on a shirt, and sell it and make money and be fully legal doing that. And there's a lot of NFT projects that started doing that with the idea of like meme culture. Each copy accrues value back to the original. So each Louis Vuitton fake bag lends credibility to the original bag because it deems it as something worth copying. And that arguably justifies Louis Vuitton charging more for their real, actual bags. Virgil talks about Off-White, how he wanted the premise to be a streetwear brand that was made in the same factories as Louis Vuitton and Hermes and all these luxury brands, which meant he had to charge a lot of money to cover those materials and those costs. And he was basically like, if you can't afford an Off-White shirt, then you should take that money and start the brand that can compete with Off-White. It's like a challenge to people to take his ethos and design it at a cheaper price point. I was like, okay, I really like that idea. What if I made a brand so good, I executed so well, which by the way, this is a lot of cockiness to even assume that I could do this, like making a brand that's designed so well, marketed so well, that could justify a high price point. And then what if I just didn't copyright any of my stuff and I open sourced all of my design materials? Like I gave people the source file for my logos, for my brand motifs, for my designs. I'm just like, yo, if you can't afford this shirt, take the logo, design a new shirt, and sell it to your friends. I won't sue you. And then the idea is that kid who starts that brand, that fake knockoff brand, he probably wants to save the money that he's making to buy the OG, like the original shit. And so maybe, what if you then had an NFT linked to your hoodie, the real hoodie, to certify like, yo, this is an OG Cosmopolitan hoodie. Look, you can scan it. It shows on the blockchain this is real. So like that has like a level of credibility. And each knockoff brand lends validity to the concept of the original. So anyways, these are some of my thoughts. Wanted to document them. Yeah. I told my mom I don't subscribe to jet lag. I don't believe in it. 2 nights ago, I slept 14 hours. And then last night, I slept 0 hours. So that averages out to 7 hours. So thanks for watching. DM me on Instagram for feet pics. You know the deal. Bye.